What do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. When I was a fresh out of Bible college pastor, my wife and I often invited the young people in the church over to our house to play games. One of our favorites was a game we called Dictionary. I learned recently that some call it Fictionary. That's certainly a funner name. What's that you say? Funner isn't a word? Look it up. Back to the story. The way we played the game involved an actual physical copy of the English language dictionary. The person who was it for each round would find a word, say it, and spell it for everyone, then write out one of the definitions from the dictionary on a small slip of paper. While they were copying the actual meaning, everyone else sitting on the floor in our living room would make something up, scribble out their idea on a similar slip of paper, and hand it to the person who was it. I was always careful when my turn to pick the word came around. You wouldn't think a pale yellow Italian cheese funny, but no one knew it was a cheese, and one answer caused great uproar. Ask Tammy about Fontina sometime and see how she reacts. I didn't want anything someone might know a thing or two about, and so it had to be a word I didn't know and which had a quirky-sounding real meaning. I didn't want it to be easy to identify when the reading started. When all the entries, real and make-believe, were turned in, the person who'd chosen the word would read all the answers. There was a lot of laughter during this phase because most people were not trying to give a plausible answer but offer something ridiculous. Believe it or not, the word which stirred up the greatest amount of laughter ever was that word, Fontina. The reading complete, everyone had to say out loud which one they thought was the true definition. Being right or wrong wasn't a big deal. No one got points or anything. We just moved on to the next word and prepared for more hilarity. The game sometimes lasted hours, most rounds producing uproarious laughter at least once. We weren't playing to win, we were playing to giggle. In life, as in the game of dictionary, it's important to choose words carefully. Obviously not just for getting a laugh, but for far deeper reasons. We don't want to hurt others. We want to convey truth. We want to encourage and build up. When I think of speaking wisely, I often think of Paul's words in Ephesians 4:29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. No unwholesome talk. Not gossip, not slander, not lying, not insults, not off-color jokes, not cussing. If it isn't going to be helpful, it isn't going to be said. If it is going to be said, it must be helpful, uplifting, something encouraging that will build up rather than tear down. I try to measure my words by this all the time. Sometimes I falter and speak unkindly. God help me guard my lips. Before I sign off, let me read a few words on words from Proverbs, a book full of wise instruction inspired by God and written down by wise men who heard his voice. I'll read each one in order from the one closest to the beginning of the book to the one closest to the end. Listen to each and see how your words measure up. Is there work you and God need to do on your vocabulary and your phraseology? Here are the words of wisdom I gleaned from a search through Proverbs. 8:8. All the words of my mouth are just. None of them is crooked or perverse. 10:19. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues. 12:18. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. 16:21. The wise in heart are called discerning, and gracious words promote instruction. 16:24. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. And finally, 17:27. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Are you ready to speak now? Are you ready to speak while guarding your words, to choose them with peace and encouragement in mind? No unwholesome speech, only building up words. If you're looking for a good word for your next game of dictionary, try Hymenopterus. I used it years ago, and the results were fun, despite the fact that it's just a word to describe a class of insects having 2 pairs of membranous wings and an ovipositor specialized for stinging, sawing, or piercing. Ovipositor might be another good one. I've got to get out of here. Till next time, may your words be prudent and accommodating, obliging and astute. Oh no, it's sad I know we've come to the end of the show. See you next time.